The Screen Team is back, and we're getting ready to review a movie that is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least, yeah. We're talking about the movie Unbroken, and here to review it with us is the very lovely, the very talented Chris Berger.
Yes. You go, Chris.
And Tonica. Tonica, how are you?
I'm doing good.
So good to see you.
Good. Well, sorry.
You can't be good or well?
Well, I'm correcting my own English. I'm sorry about that.
All right. Tell you these English grammar people.
Yes.
Let's talk about Unbroken. This is based on a true story. It was a movie that was directed by Angelina Jolie, and this is basically about the story of, I'm trying to find the fella's name here. What's his name? Louis Zamperini.
Yes.
It's his true story, and this guy had a remarkable true story. But when we first meet him, he's a younger guy, and he doesn't follow the rules, does he?
Right. I mean, back then, there was a lot of kids that did the things that he did. Mm-hmm. I think that's what brought me into the story. That's why I couldn't do anything else once it started in with him as a kid, and then you see the transition as a kid, mm-hmm. and with his family. That it surprised me, because you hear so many people talk about life at that time. Life before Pearl Harbor happened, or mm-hmm. life right when Pearl Harbor happened. Yeah. And, there wasn't a lot of rich people. I mean, a lot of people were poor and they got by, and you could tell that he really wasn't as poor as you think he was, but he just kind of liked breaking the rules. Yeah, he loved breaking the rules, and then his older brother kind of got a hold of him and said, hey, listen, man, you need to get your act together, and I think you could be a really great runner. Right. And he trained with him. He made him determined. He made him want it. Yes. Because you remember when he was racing, and then he says, you can do faster than this. I've seen you go faster. He said, mm-hmm. but nobody's chasing me. Right. And then throughout the movie, it kind of sticks in the back of your head, that whole saying about nobody's chasing me. Yeah. And it's just and the strength that he gets throughout his life. After, knowing this, mm-hmm. It's just, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. And I was warm in here. So this is an amazing story. So before we get into a lot of the crazier parts of the story, we find out that he trains really hard and he gets to go to the Olympics, right? Yes. 1934 Olympics, which were... he was still in high school. It was right before he went to college. Yeah. It was a really famous Olympics. It was set in Berlin, when the height of the Nazi power. Jesse Owens won all his medals in that one. And I don't think that Louis won any medals in this Olympics, did he? Didn't he break a record? He broke a record. But that was during the preliminaries to see if he was going to race with the rest of them. Mm-hmm. He broke that record. But then he didn't win any medals when he actually ran with everybody else. I had to look it up to find out, but... Right. But it just kind of shows his determination that he never, ever quits. Right. And it kind of moves on, flash forwards to World War II. He's in the Air Force. He's He's a bomber in the Air Force, isn't he? Right. He does the target. I've seen so many movies lately, man. I'm like, okay, was it this one or this one? But he's the one who looks through the scope and looks at the target, and then he's the one who times the bombs to fall when they go over him, and he tells the pilot, go so much left, go so much right, so they can drop the bombs in the right place. So he's smart. Very, very smart. During one of the runs, the plane gets shot down, and there's only a couple of survivors from his crew. Yeah, from that one. Yes, from that time. And there's I think there's 3 or 4 guys who make it out on this life raft, and they are on the life raft for it seems almost about a month. What was it, 45, 46 days? Something crazy like that. Yeah. I mean, they were, it was just funny to see them. And the sharks and the everything that they had to go through. Yeah. And I learned don't eat birds. Don't eat raw birds. But they didn't have any problem with fish, man. They were taking care of the fish. They were, but the sharks were crazy, man. That was really, really crazy. But they get discovered. They get saved, but not by by the Japanese. Not by who they wanted,
So he gets put.
And this is based on a true story, so we're not making this up.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, this is an incredible story. Just us talking about the bullet points of it, So he gets put in a prison camp in Japan, and the funny thing is he his whole goal throughout this whole story was he wanted to go to the Olympics in Tokyo.
Yes,
but he never got to. He got to go
they
to
actually
Tokyo.
Canceled that Olympics too. So, but he did get to go to
Tokyo, just not in the fashion that he wanted to go.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this movie, and I really love this movie. It's a hard movie to watch because basically you're watching this guy getting his behind handed to him the entire time, and it's very difficult to watch. But you're rooting for him. You're like, man, come on, keep on going. But one of my favorite aspects of this movie was the constant tension between Louis and I can't think of the other guy's name.
The bird.
The bird.
Yeah.
His Japanese captor, I guess, for lack of a better term. Those two had a really good dynamic.
Yeah.
Did you have any favorite scenes?
Well, there's so many things brought out because this was banned from Japan. And it wasn't until recently that some people played it, but it's been banned. There's ugly parts of history anyway, and there's ugly parts of every country has ugly things that we've gone through with our ancestors. And this didn't make me hate the Japanese, but it brought light to what we've gone through and, how easy we take everything. And that's what got me was just even the persistence of him and the American spirit of holding the
beam?
Yeah, holding the beam over his head with a broken foot. I mean, that just... Oh, did I tell too much?
No. I mean, basically, it's towards the end of the story, the scene.
Just the spirit of how he fights and how he not only is it a battle with yourself, but it's a battle with, the circumstances around you. And just even his friend that he went in with, how skinny he was, just so surprised me. Just the acting just blew me away. I mean, because they lost weight and everything for this. It wasn't CGI. They did this themselves just to make sure that it was accurate.
The guy who plays Louis is Jack O'Connell.
Yes.
He is kind of a newer actor.
His first one I've seen.
Got a great look. At least that's what Tanaka says. And you also have, and I can never pronounce this guy's name right, Damonhall Gleeson. He was his friend in the lifeboat, and he did a great job as well. The acting was really superb. What did you think about Angelina Jolie's directing in this? I think this was her second directing role.
I think it was better than some of the others I've seen of hers. She jumped between timelines. I think she did really well with jumping between timelines, showing the past, showing when he was in, and this life experience he had helped him with this and bringing it all together. And I think she did really well with that. I was concerned about that when it started. But then I think the transitions between the two were just brilliant because just the stills that she did on some of the things and how she came behind something to show him standing, in the crowd, and just the way that she captured it. She has a wonderful eye when it came to that. I was very impressed with it.
This guy's story is really, truly amazing. And what I thought was amazing is, you watch him go through all this heartache, all this turmoil. And at the very end of the movie, you're like, oh, yeah, he made it out alive, blah, blah, blah. But then they show you, they give you oh, this is what happened to him kind of thing. And basically, years after this, he suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome. He had alcoholism. So it wasn't like everything was peachy afterwards, you know. But it eventually did become that when he found forgiveness for his enemies and stuff like that.
Well, he actually traveled over there, and the bird was the only person that would not meet him. But he actually, he went to a Billy Graham crusade. And then that's when he gave his life over to Christ. Because you remember in the lifeboat, he did that. He said that, I'll do anything for you.
Right.
And then he said, I'll do, and he was pleading with God to save his life. And then later on at the Billy Graham Crusade, he accepted Christ, and then he went to talk to his captors and forgive them. And the bird is the only person that would not meet him.
And I think it was because he was intimidated by
And then
him,
when he was 80 years old, he carried the Olympic torch into Tokyo.
Yeah.
And
Such
for
an
the
amazing,
Olympics. Yeah, what a spirit.
Amazing story. And he did pass away a couple years ago, but I believe he did get to see a rough cut of the movie.
See, I didn't know that either.
So that was very, very cool. Definitely a true American hero and a great movie. It's called Unbroken. Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely check it out. Coming up after the break, we're going to review one of the newest Terminator films. It's called Terminator Genesis. It's next on KWOC.